I need you so. I'll never let you go, 'cause I love you so.
In 1952, the Chicago Bears finished 5-7, starting a downhill trend. The Cubs avoided their sixth straight losing season, finishing 77-77, but they'd go on to stack 10 straight losing seasons after that. The White Sox, they finished 14 games behind the Yankees. But in 1952, a real winner was born in Chicago, Mike North. Part Italian, part Irish, Mike and his two brothers, John and Danny, were sons of Don and Jesse. Mike's parents rarely had it easy, but they worked hard and instilled a relentless work ethic in their children. Mike learned about principles from his dad and was strongly influenced by his mom and her Italian family, who all lived close by. His grandma, godparents Aunt May and Uncle Leo, Aunt Mary, and his beloved Uncle Joey played important roles in his young life. Mike and school never got along, so he focused his ever-ready energy into other things. Mike was blessed with the gift of gab and the ability to make people laugh. He read the newspaper every day. He loved politics, movies, and music. But most of all, he loved sports.
You know, I'm on all-star teams. I'm one of the best athletes in the neighborhood. I get along with everybody. I work. I bring home, I'm bringing home money. I'm 13 years old. I'm working paper routes. I'm doing everything. I'm a working man, but I wasn't bringing home good grades.
Mike grew up on Chicago's north side, a round tripper away from Wrigley Field, a place his uncles frequently took him to, even though Mike was in reality a White Sox fan and idolized Nellie Fox. But Mike adored the Chicago Bears even more and attended the 1963 Bears championship game with his Uncle Joey and Uncle Leo on a frigid day at Wrigley Field. Mike knew early on it was about playing hard and winning because winning was everything to him.
Everything in my world, from the time I was 7 years old, has been about competition.
His love of sports brewed in him a competitive spirit, and Mike would go on to win numerous championships over the years in softball, football, and basketball. Along the way, Mike developed many close friendships. In the 1960s, you'd find him and many of his friends hanging out on the corners of Thorndale and Glenwood. They called themselves the Saints.
I got friends like Jimmy DiGiulio, Johnny O'Malley, and they were in my wedding party with guys like Bobby Sanders and others.
Those friendships have endured for decades, and they are still a close-knit group today. In 1972, the draft lottery pulled Mike's birthday, September 10th, as number 46, and off he went to Fort Polk, Louisiana, awaiting orders to go to Vietnam. Luckily, then-President Richard Nixon would soon put a freeze on sending troops to Southeast Asia. But that wasn't Mike's biggest stroke of luck. It happened when he was home on leave from the service.
Then I met Bee, this woman that's got this education that is second to none. I always looked at that Billy Joel video, Uptown Girl. That's what happened to me. Only I wasn't Billy Joel.
I bet she never had a backstreet guy.
It was a whole different ballgame now. Hey, look, you got a problem with my education? Say hello to my wife.
You gotta make your own kind of music.
Soon, the brash, fun-loving Mike North and BeBe were married.
They say opposites attract, and man, there was no two opposites more than us.
Mike, though he had dropped out of high school, had always landed good city jobs thanks to his uncles. But he wasn't satisfied.
I came home one day almost in tears. I was picking paper. I go, B, I'm better than this. I can't pick paper for the rest of my life. There's something I can do better. And so BeBe goes, why don't we open a hot dog stand?
Day I live, I want to be.
Mike agreed, and the two bought their first stand, Frank's a Lot. That was followed by the Soup Opera. But it was the third location, BeBe's, that brought opportunities they never would have imagined. The stand was super successful, and Mike and BeBe developed a loyal clientele along with young employees who worked with them for years. BeBe's mom, Grace, came to work with them at this tiny 750 square foot stand at 3507 North Milwaukee in Chicago. And they were frequently featured in newspapers, magazines, and television. But it was while serving food at BeBe's that Mike found his true destiny. Not far from the stand was the WXRT radio station. Mike met station officials and landed his first radio gig by buying a 1-hour slot for his then innovative idea, a sports gambling show named the NFL Handicap Show. 3 years later, Mike read a newspaper story that the folks at XRT were turning one of its stations to a jazz format. When station owner Danny Lee and executive Seth Mason came to the hot dog stand, Mike blew his own horn.
I go, what are you guys doing? You're going to start something like jazz or cool country? He goes, yeah. I go, you should start a sports station. And BeBe's going, Mike, would you please wait on the people? Wait on the people. So I go back on the register. I start waiting on the people. Then I get to them. I said, Danny, start a sports station. She goes, Mike, let them eat. They eat. I chase them out the door. It's pouring rain.
Over the weekend, Lee, the station's owner, looked at Sunday's newspapers and noticed that the sports section was loaded with ads. The music section was not. North won. He managed to change the minds of radio executives and land a job as a full-time co-host, only after scoffing at the idea of doing weekends as a tryout. Mike, the high school dropout, was teamed with Harvard graduate and former Bears player Dan Jiggets to form the Monsters of the Midday.
Come on now, touch me, babe. Can't you see that I am not afraid?
A tough city, hungry for sports success, but almost always sold disappointment, now had one of their own behind the microphone.
Who do you love?
Mike represented the real side of Chicago. He asked the tough questions. So tough that Chicago Bears owner Mike McCaskey and Blackhawks owner Bill Wirtz would stop their interviews by hanging up on him. And then there was the classic clash with then White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen.
Ozzie Guillen on the line here on WSCI. How you doing, Ozzie?
Oh, shut the up. I know you like AJ. I know you love AJ the same way I am. But there's no reason you guys try to make lineups and shit around in the air when you don't know.
Well, wait, we're on the Ozzie. We're on the radio now, so
I'm telling you guys that bullshit every day.
Hey, Ozzie, clean up your mouth, all right?
Okay, I will
clean
do
up
that.
your clean up your damn mouth when you're talking on the radio and you're talking to me. Have a little respect, all right? Don't go talking to me like you're talking down to somebody. You understand me? You don't talk down to me. You understand?
Okay, I will do that. But in the meanwhile, while you talking on the air, you respect.
That's my job to find out what's going on. It's my job to find out what AJ Brzezinski thinks. It's my job to figure out what the hell's going on. But don't ever talk down to me. Don't ever talk to me like I'm some... Yeah, you better hang up the damn phone.
Who do you love?
1 year into his broadcasting career, Mike and BeBe were convinced selling hot dogs was out and talking sports was in. BeBe helped manage his career. She booked his appearances, executive produced multiple Emmy Award-winning TV shows, and handled the countless charity requests that Mike always graciously accepted. Mike would soon become the highest-paid local sports radio broadcaster in the United States while winning 4 on-air radio awards. And with his star ascending, he and his wife BeBe would mingle with stars of sport, screen, and music.
Yeah, who do you love? Who do you love?
Mike's legion of fans loved his everyman persona, hard-working, hard-partying, sports-loving Chicagoan who went from selling hot dogs to entertaining people, all the while spouting sports talk and becoming super successful. With BeBe at his side, they had become the toast of the town and built Pappyland, a large brick home in Park Ridge, entertaining family, friends, and celebrities on numerous occasions.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
Mike and BeBe have strong, close-knit families. They've enjoyed the love of relatives. It's always mattered deeply to them. So, with the riches that came from his success, Mike would share it with those most important to them. So, embracing his and BeBe's Italian heritage, for his 50th birthday and 25th wedding anniversary, Mike would take family and some friends to Italy for a trip filled with priceless memories.
When the stars make you drool, just like a pasta fazool, that's amore.
Helping get the Ernie Banks statue erected is just one of many examples of Mike's public spirit.
There must be light.
Another is successfully working to have 16-inch softball become a high school letter sport.
Got to be birds flying higher.
Friends and co-workers always spoke of his generosity, and Mike developed several close, long-lasting relationships with his producer Jesse Rogers, radio executive Jeff Spaceball Schwartz, and producer and funny man John Shaky Suntress. A huge constant in Mike's life throughout the years was his love for his dogs. First, his beloved Licorice, then his gem Lucky, and now his boy Lotto. All three brought Mike's soft side to the surface, endearing him more to his fans. In 2006, Mike decided to quit drinking. It had become a way of life for him and seemed an unlikely feat. But he quit cold turkey and never looked back. At this time, he began to volunteer as a high school basketball coach at Notre Dame Boys High School and did it for 6 years. Mike wrote columns for the Chicago Sun-Times and the Daily Herald, hosted television shows winning 2 Emmys, created several successful song parodies, most noticeably Caucasian Man, which Mike patterned after his tough, blue-collar dad. He then moved on to Fox National Radio. His work ethic, passion for sports, and quick wit created more Mike North fans. In 2017, Mike North cashed his chips in and retired.
I see them blue.
But that could not last because Mike knew there was money where his mouth is. Foreseeing the sports gambling boom, Mike once again bet on himself. He'd host his own sports gambling podcast to prove his ability to successfully handicap games while entertaining audiences with his storytelling.
Mini me at 3 Heinekens, and then the next thing you know, he was upside down in the grotto pool, naked.
Mike again was a long shot to succeed, as most thought the category would be relegated to people half his age. But once again, Mike North defied the odds.
The Odds Couple with Chicago radio legend Mike North and midday host Carmen DeFalco on ESPN 1000.
You certainly don't want to miss our best plays later on, especially from my partner Mike North, who continues to pick him up and put him down. He's been on fire.
It is now 2025. Chicago's sports teams continue to disappoint, but Mike, now in his mid-70s, is approaching 50 years of marriage, 35 years in broadcasting, 20 years sober, and 8 years at ESPN. Mike North is still winning.
I think to myself, what a wonderful